I woke to a suspicious creaking sound coming from the hallway. It was quiet but insistent, as if someone were carefully opening an old door, trying not to wake the whole house. Outside, the thick pre-dawn darkness still hung thick, as dense as fog over a river, and the alarm clock on the bedside table blinked 4:42 a.m. in red, looking ominous in the dim light. Masha slept next to me, snoring softly, her face buried in the pillow. Her breathing was even and calm as always after a long day at work in the store. Her light brown hair was scattered across the faded pillowcase with its Soviet-era pattern, those same geometric shapes that reminded me of my grandmother's old bedspreads from my childhood, smelling of naphthalene and memories of summers in the village. Trying not to make any noise from the springs of the old sofa, which creaked like a rusty cart on a bumpy road, I crawled out from under the heavy cotton blanket, which smelled of mildew, cheap fabric softener, and the faint scent of car perfume, the kind she bought at the market on sale, the scent of apples and vanilla which always calmed me. We had been temporarily sheltering with my mother-in-law for 2 weeks now, while they replaced the rusty radiators in our panel apartment, and patched the holes in the walls, where the drafts in winter were so intense that it chattered, and frost grew on the windowsill. It was a stuffy little closet with cracked plaster, yellowed by time and cigarette smoke. My mother-in-law sometimes smoked secretly, and the webs in the corners where spiders wove their webs became our temporary refuge. Safa left a sore spot in my back in the mornings, as if I'd spent the entire night lugging sacks of cement at a construction site. And the linoleum beneath my bare feet was icy, like the basement of an abandoned factory, making me shiver and silently curse this damn communal apartment, where every inch was a reminder of Soviet times, from the peeling wallpaper to the creaky doors. The muffled rumble of a tram outside echoed through the wall. These old cars always rumbled along the rails, a reminder that the city never slept, even at this early hour. Sometimes I imagined the conductor yawning and the passengers, rare shadows of the night, heading off to or from their shifts. And in the entryway, a door creaked, echoing through the floors, as if one of the neighbors had decided to run out for cigarettes or take out the trash. And I even thought, maybe it was Uncle Kolya from the third. He always gets up before dawn. I froze, listening, trying to figure out if it wasn't a hallucination after yesterday's late dinner and beer. Masha and I had been watching a TV series, and I had a couple of bottles to relax after my shift. The creaking turned into a soft thud, as if someone was carefully rearranging jars of deer, the ones my mother-in-law marinated at the dacha last summer, or dropping something small. A fork, a bottle cork, apartment keys onto the worn oilcloth covering the kitchen table, all stained with tea and grease. The sound was coming from the kitchen, and there was something wrong, disturbing about it, not just household noise, but like a secret that shouldn't be disturbed, like an old chest of family secrets that are best left unopened. Sleep vanished completely, replaced by curiosity tinged with a slight anxiety that settled in my chest like a cold lump, like wet snow down my collar in November. I remembered how, as a child, I'd been afraid of the night sounds in my grandmother's hut, the rustling under the floor, the creaking of shutters, and that feeling came back. Only now I'm a grown man, not a boy, but my heart still began to pound. Maybe rats, I thought, or have thieves broken in? That happens in our neighborhood, especially in old houses. I crept down the hallway, tiptoeing, trying to distribute my weight, but the old linoleum still crackled under my feet, giving me away like a traitor in an old spy movie. Every sound seemed like thunder in the dead silence of the Khrushchev-era apartment, where even the mice seemed to be holding their breath, and the paper-thin walls let through every whisper of the neighbors. I cursed silently, imagining Masha waking up, rubbing her eyes with her slender fingers and asking in a sleepy voice, "Seryag, where are you going in the middle of the night? Can't sleep because of work again? Maybe you should take a pill?" I would lie about thirst or insomnia, not admitting to this stupid paranoia that had suddenly washed over me like a wave. Reaching the kitchen door, I held my breath and slowly opened it, millimeter by millimeter, without disturbing the rag hanging on a nail, the very one my mother-in-law used to wipe the table after meals, smelling of grease and detergent. In the pale light of the street lamp from the yard, filtering through the washed-out curtains, with faded daisies that had probably hung there since the 1980s and seen more than one generation, I saw Olga Petrovna, my mother-in-law. She stood by the ancient Minsk refrigerator, which rumbled like a dying tractor, chewing up electricity and occasionally thumping like the heart of an old man with arrhythmia. Her plump figure swayed to the rhythm, as if she were dancing to inaudible music from her past, perhaps to the songs the parade played in her youth, and her hands fiddled with something inside the cabinet, making a soft clanking sound. The door of the wall cabinet, which,